What up boys, welcome back to another strategy video. Real quickly, if you enjoyed today's content then do consider subscribing. It means a ton to the channel. Thank you, and I'll get into the content now. So arrows finally got their much deserved buff after being possibly the worst damage spell in the game. They now attack in a wave, with each wave taking a very short amount of time to land. These waves do 101 damage each, but rarely will you only hit with 1 or 2 waves, so we'll just call it 303 damage total. Their old damage used to be 243, meaning they'd cap out at killing princesses, dark goblins, or rascals. Now they have the added ability of countering archers and wall breakers, giving us much needed counters to the most meta win condition and Expo 2.9. This change also enables them to take out guards, seeing as their damage waves will take off the shield with the first 2 waves and finish off the guards with the last. This effect also works with dying rural recruits and night witches, giving you a spell that works similarly to poison in how it can tick down and finish these units. Arrows just move quicker with a lot less damage and don't really offer you any area of denial. This mechanic of popping something and then killing a unit carries over into a lot more than just guards and night witches. Tombstone also experiences this. If you let a tombstone run down its life timer, killing it with less than half HP with arrows will enable you to kill the remaining skeletons and get free damage onto the tower and any surrounding units. Against Goblin Cage, this interaction works too. Just throw your arrows when the cage is at a quarter of its HP and you can get a free hit onto the brawler. Although this isn't too practical, it's nice to have in the back of your mind. Units that spawn other troops will suffer against your new triple wave of arrows as well. Hitting a battle ram at a quarter health means that the barbarians inside will suffer quite a bit of damage from your arrows because of how squishy they are. My personal favourite troop affected by this is the Goblin Giant. Hitting him at under 4% HP, which I know is very specific, but he's a beefy boy, means that your final arrow wave can take down those goblins before they get the chance to attack. The same cannot be said, however, for Skeleton Barrel. This card annoyingly has a deployment delay on the skeletons that it spawns, so the arrows are actually too fast to hit both the Skeleton Barrel and the skeletons. Of course, you can still just kill the skeletons with arrows though, so it's not a huge deal. Another card that arrows are now worse against is another barrel, but this time the one filled with goblins. The split damage means that arrows needs 2 waves to kill the goblin, which does actually give the goblins a slight opportunity to attack your tower. As with the skeleton barrel, you can still deny all damage against a goblin barrel, but it's a slight nerf to this individual interaction. Interactions with other goblin cards such as Goblin Gang have improved. Before, their deploy delay meant that prediction arrows could hit only half of the goblins if timed incorrectly. With the arrows now coming in waves, it's almost guaranteed that the goblin boys will die. The final slight improvement I have for you is against Graveyard. The multiple waves may just catch an extra skeleton that it wouldn't have before. Now I want to talk about spell synergies, starting with the Log. Together, these two have damage high enough to take out Magic Archer and Zappies, and bring Barbs within 9 HP of death. Why do these two interactions matter? Well, the Magic Archer is a card that thrives against decks that lack a big spell. Now running the Log with arrows gives you a 5 elixir counter that can get you 200 tower damage in the process. Cycle decks finally have an answer to this meta menace now. The other spell synergy is of course Lightning. The versatility of these new arrows especially provide lightning players with a splash effect that the lightning usually lacks. Lightning insta-kills off any of those mid-health attackers for a good trade, whilst arrows can clear up most low-health attackers for a good trade now. My biggest winner from the arrows buff overall is most definitely Lightning. With the huge radius of arrows, it actually hits the second most tiles out of all the spells. It only loses to Tornado. When we factor in damage, it does the second most damage over its effect radius, losing out to just Poison. And when you factor in Elixir, it is the 3rd most efficient damage dealer per tile in the game, behind Poison and the Log. Of course, the Log doesn't actually hit air, so I'd class arrows as the 2nd most efficient, but that's just more nerdy stat stuff. And with those boring stats out of the way, arrows are now a powerful, versatile, and extremely easy to use spell for their damage, waves, and large radius respectively. I expect them to be a top tier spell for this coming month, and could even use a small little nerf to how quickly they hit. I obviously expect all other small spells to fall off a bit with these arrows being stronger, but I also expect to see a fall in Wall Breakers, Magic Archer, and some 2.9 with these changes. Overall, I believe this buff to arrows is positive. It revives this forever dead spell and gives us a great counter to a lot of the problem cards in the game right now. So, GG Supercell.